Hi there, working homeschool mom. This is Charlotte from Charlotte Jones 24/7 and My Little Homeschool. And this is episode number 128 of the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll find lots to help you on your working homeschool mom journey. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for spending some of your time with me today. And just to introduce myself, I'm a coach for new working homeschool moms, and I'll help you figure out that messy beginning so that you can take your first steps with confidence. I also have a wonderful membership of working homeschool moms on Patreon called the WHM Collective, and there I share lots of exclusive content, in-depth workshops, free coaching, email support, and lots more. So be sure to head over there and have a look. You can join for free to see if you like it. So I hope to see you over on Patreon at the WHM Collective. You can find the link in the show notes. This week, I'm doing another AMA episode, and I think I'm going to do them every month because I know it's really valuable to get your actual question answered, because sometimes you just get bombarded by information and somebody's not answering the question or doubt that you have about being a working homeschool mom. So I'm going to be covering 3 questions today. The one is about how working and homeschooling can look different, how to keep a tight schedule, and how to prioritize school with limited time. These are all great questions, and I'm really excited to dive into them. But before we get to the episode, I'd be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, or subscribe to the podcast, or you could forward it to a new working homeschool mom who needs some support so that I can help her on her working homeschool mom journey. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Hi there, and welcome to the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte Jones. I'm your host, and I am a podcaster, a speaker, a writer, and a homeschooling coach, specifically for working homeschool moms. I've been homeschooling my neurodivergent twin boys since 2017, and I've been a working homeschool mom since 2017. So I know it can feel really overwhelming to keep all the balls in the air all the time. So each week I chat about tips and strategies for being a happy and thriving working homeschool mom. I cover things like time management, homeschooling, mindset, and lots of other juicy topics like that. I also speak to awesome and inspiring women who manage to juggle homeschooling and work successfully and find out what their secrets are. And I also welcome experts who can help you on your working homeschool mom journey. I have lots of ways to support you, so be sure to check them out in the show notes. You can download my time audit as your first step to managing your time better. I have a Facebook group for working homeschool moms that you can join as well. And be sure to sign up to my newsletter for weekly updates. And if you need additional support, you can join the WHM Collective, which is a supportive community of working homeschool moms where we delve deeper into topics that are going to help you thrive as a working homeschool mom. Or if you need one-to-one support, be sure to book in a session with me. I'm so excited for you to be here, and I know you'll get so much value out of this episode. So let's get started. Working homeschool mom, I know how overwhelming it can be to choose a math curriculum for your homeschool. That's why I'd like to tell you about the online math curriculum we've been using for years, ctcmath.com. As far as math curriculums go, it has loads of great features that solve lots of the math issues we've had, and I know a lot of homeschooling families have. Here are just a few of the many features that we really like. Questions are adaptive, which means the interactive questions change in difficulty depending on the student's ability. The program uses a smart algorithm that tracks the student's progress and delivers questions based on their exact needs. The student doesn't even know this is happening, helping them to build confidence and master math concepts. Concepts are delivered through video tutorials and summaries, which are clear, complete, and easy to follow. It's like having your very own teacher. This ensures your children understand something before they're asked to practice it. And then for us parents, CTC Math has extensive reports which are so valuable in monitoring your child's progress and spotting any gaps. And they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee if this curriculum is not for you and your family. CTC will provide a full refund, no questions asked. But I think the most important thing is a whole lot less stress when it's math time for both parents and kids. You get to outsource math with confidence, and your kids get a fantastic tailor-made program that makes learning and mastering math enjoyable and positive. Visit CTC Math today to start your free trial. CTC Math is also offering you, listener, an amazing special. When you go to ctcmath.com/MLH, you can get a half price discount plus a bonus 6 months for free. That's ctcmath.com/MLH. Let's dive into the first question. Bekah, who has been working in homeschooling for 2 years, asks the following question: how do I accept looking different from other homeschooling families and not being able to provide the same outings and opportunities outside our home? Such a great question. And this is actually the reason why I started coaching as a working homeschool mom, because it does look so different, I think, to what our idea of homeschooling is. So I think that first step is really important, is to accept that maybe it's going to look different, that it's not going to look like a typical homeschool. Not that there is such a thing as a typical homeschool, but homeschooling has been around long enough so that we have this idea of what it's like. So kind of accepting that it's going to look different is the first step. Then I think finding people who have a similar experience to yours is so important. I tell the story time and time again. I never would have even started homeschooling if I hadn't found people who were doing what I was doing. Homeschooling neurodiversity was something that I was totally overwhelmed with, but I knew I wanted to do it. And I found people and I found support, and it helped me to take those first steps, because otherwise I just would have thought about it, and worried about it and not actually taken a leap of faith. So I think finding people who are having a similar experience to yours is really, really important. That being said, I think working and homeschooling in general is growing. So I talk to many people when I do summits and things like that, that they have said that there are many people who want to homeschool but feel like they cannot because they are working and homeschooling. Us as a group of homeschoolers is definitely growing, I would say. Not that that might help you immediately, but it is something to keep in mind. Maybe if you do look around, maybe you will find people who are working and homeschooling. It might just take a little bit more effort. Then in terms of the actual outings, if you're going to accept that it might look a little bit different, you could fit those outings into times when you can manage them. So can you do them over weekends? Can you do them early in the morning? Can you do them at night? Can you do them in the afternoon? I think just accepting that it's going to look different is really, really powerful, because it just means that you'll be more open to doing things at different times that are not considered normal. I'm putting normal in air quotes. Nothing is normal ever. It is just what we make of it. And I think also, if you cannot find a community, maybe you could create a community around yourself. And I think, like I said, you might be surprised that there are people who are working and homeschooling. It's definitely a group of homeschoolers that is growing. So maybe just, put your feelers out and see if there's anybody out there where you could create this community for yourself. If you create a community around yourself, you can help each other out. So they could potentially take your kids out on outings, or you could take theirs when you have time. So I think, putting yourself out there, finding a community can be really powerful. And at the same time, you could also outsource as well. So maybe your kids could go to a co-op once or twice a week, and the co-ops could manage taking them out. I think the important thing is just to accept that it's not worse, it's just different. And it's very empowering to kind of accept this and then to move forward with this kind of mentality. So the next question comes from Cherise, who has been homeschooling and working for 4 years. And I think it's interesting that she says how to keep a tight schedule. And I know my first 4 years, I didn't feel confident with my schedule. So it can really take some time to figure out what works. And I think also it's important to accept that things change all the time. So maybe if your schedule worked at the beginning, but it doesn't work now, it's time to rethink. Like I always say, check in with yourself every season, set some goals, make sure that everything is still working, because things change. Kids grow so quickly. Your life changes, seasons of life change. So it's really important to always check in to make sure that everything is still working. Some things I recommend for having a schedule that works is you have to know what your values are, your values and your goals. You need to spend time thinking about what's important to you, what you want to achieve, because those things need to go into your schedule. Because if you're doing things that are lighting you up, that are moving you forward, you're going to feel like your schedule is more successful because you're doing things that are moving you forward. And you also need to think about what your non-negotiables are. So put those in as well. So some things are non-negotiable. For me, it's exercise, for example. Then you just have to let other things go. So as I always recommend, if you're feeling like your schedule's not good, If you're feeling like your schedule isn't working, do a time audit and figure out where your time's going. Are there things that you can let go so that you can include the things that you want to do so you feel like your schedule is working for you? And then obviously things like block scheduling, batching tasks together, these are really powerful. It means you don't waste time jumping around. So you're going to maximize the time that you have. And block scheduling is great because it's kind of structured but flexible. So you see as much as you can do within a block of time. And then at least, even if you're not doing 1,000 things a day, you are moving forward at a pace that suits you. So block scheduling is really, really, really useful and really powerful. And finally, Ashley, who is brand new, wants to know how to prioritize school with limited time. This is a great question. The first step I always recommend is to deschool when you're going to start homeschooling. So I'm going to be talking in depth about deschooling over at the WHM Collective. So if this is something that you're interested in, be sure to head over there and to become an insider. And the reason why deschooling is so important because it's going to really set you up for a successful homeschool. It's going to open up your mind. It's going to shift you away from the idea that homeschooling must happen for 8 hours a day, that kids must sit in one place and they must do workbooks and things like that. Because when you have limited time, you need to be creative with your schedule. You need to think of the times or the ways that you're going to fit schooling into your day. And you need to deschool because if you have very set ideas about how it should look, then it's going to be hard for you to be open-minded about being a little bit creative. So homeschooling at night, homeschooling early in the morning. If you've been here a long time, you know that my kids are very early homeschoolers, or they were at least. It's starting to get better now, thank goodness, because it was really hectic to homeschool at 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, whatever works. I know homeschoolers who homeschool at night, weekends. Just be open and be flexible because that is going to just give you so much more leeway in terms of finding the time, especially when your time is limited. And then I think it's also really useful to do year-round homeschooling. I talk about it a lot. Year-round homeschooling is a lifesaver for us. We homeschool 4 days a week, 50-ish weeks a year, and it means that we can do less per day and we can still get everything done that we need to do. And again, outsource. If you have limited time, let somebody else take that burden for you. Can you do online homeschooling, co-ops? There's so many different variations of homeschooling as well. So just, have that open mind. And I think lastly, it's really important to give your kids opportunities to learn. And I don't mean like tons of time, hours and hours and hours of time every day, lots and lots of outings. I mean, obviously those are great, but having a good conversation with your child 20 to 30 minutes a day, or giving them tons of books to read, giving them access to the internet where they can figure out things for themselves. All these opportunities are so powerful and they will learn so much. And also the beautiful thing is it will be interest led. So they will lead and they will be engaged because they are able to lead and because it's something that they're interested in. Really, really powerful. And lastly, always remember that learning happens all the time. As humans, we never stop learning. Bookwork is one thing, sure. The academics is one thing, sure. But all the other skills that you can learn just being a human in this world are invaluable. So don't worry about prioritizing school or the academic learning because your kids are going to be learning so many other wonderful things at the same time. So if you have a question for AMA, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Charlotte Jones 24/7. You can even reach out on this episode if there's something that you want me to answer for the next time. There is a little possibility where you can leave a comment. So you can leave a comment and I can always answer that during my next AMA episode. And as always, if you need help with anything, I'm here to support you. Please, I want to help you on your working homeschool mom journey. Having somebody in your corner is so powerful and it can really help you to manage this because, as I always say, it can be a tough path to follow, but at the same time, it is incredibly rewarding to have a hand in the education of your kids, to be able to spend more time with them, to know what they're doing, to be engaged with them, and also to contribute to society, to contribute to your family. It's incredibly rewarding. So if you want to do it, I'm here to help you. I really want to support you on your working homeschool mom journey. So be sure to reach out anytime. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Please let me know what your greatest takeaway was. You can reach out to me on Instagram at charlottejones247 or on my website at mylittlehomeschool.com, or you could even drop me an email at hello@mylittlehomeschool.com. I'd be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It will help spread the news about being a working homeschool mom, and in that way we can build this wonderful supportive community together. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, take care.